Okay, so I think we're live in the Unionism Spiritual Discussion group. I'm Lacey, and we are here because last time we had this dialogue, we talked for the whole hour and we only got up to the 4th stage in the 10 phases of the Ascension prophecy that Jeff and Shaleia gave us. So welcome everyone. If you're watching this and you're not part of this group who's speaking, please comment below with your questions or if you have a reaction. Just share what's going on with you and how you feel about the prophecy. And as we shared last time, myself and Laurentiu and Alexandra and Colby and Keely shared about how the prophecies that we received on an individual level came true. So this means that Jeff and Shaleia are divine channels and that their prophecies are very accurate. So it's going to be very interesting. If you'd like to see the 10 phases of the Ascension, if you missed that, you can check out the first 4 phases in this Unionism Spiritual Discussion. Just scroll below and look for a post from Jeff. So I'll go ahead and get started. I want to introduce everybody. We have a very large group. We have myself, I'm Lacey Mappis. We have Soraya Andalib, I'm just going to read their names off as I see them. Mora Ora, Sandra Batista, Colby and Keely, Jason and Chrissy, Laurentiu and Alexandra, Kasey Kelly, and Daniel and Deanna. So welcome everybody. This is just a really amazing group, and I'm happy to be here with all of you. So our idea was to read a paragraph and then talk about it. So I'll go ahead and read one of the paragraphs, unless anybody wants to share anything before we start. Nope. All right. I feel like this next paragraph needs kind of like an introduction. So because you'll see. So it's stage 5. So I'll just give like a really brief recap on the first stages, and you can go and read them if you like. Stage 1, well, first there was a preamble talking about how the world was created by Lucifer, directed by God to create the world, and then basically the world is here for us to be like a stage to learn to come into union, perfect union with God. Stage 1 is awareness, and this is where the children of God begin to awaken to their true nature. Stage 2 is like the holy shock, and this is when the tribe, the new earth tribe starts to flourish, and this is when the new souls come down to earth straight from heaven and into earth straight from heaven. But the opposition starts growing and hatred starts to boil, but the tribe starts growing as well. Stage 3 is called continued denial. This is when the new earth tribe attains its place as the righteous leader of the planet, and people begin to follow in the millions, but the tribe becomes very mobile, and but then stage 4, there's a reluctant acceptance, and so this is when the tribe is like at its full force in the millions and ranks, and it's burgeoning and growing, and schools are made, and people had been secluded in their homes, and now they're coming out in the streets in millions. And we have seen some of these things appear so far, but basically the new tribe, I say we because I feel we are a part of it, start to build the spiritual infrastructure of the earth. And then towards the end of stage 4, a great spiritual war begins with battles fought in heaven and earth, not in the flesh. And then the Antichrist, who's a figurehead of hatred, arrogance, and anger. A great snake of injustice comes about. The Antichrist comes to rise. So that leads us to stage 5, total war. The apocalypse has come. I'm saying that with a smile. I'm not sure why. Because I know there's more stages, I think. The earth of old has come to its breaking point. Sensing its imminent annihilation, it stands up to fight a mighty battle of will. All the resources of heaven pour into earth in a torrent of life. Immense waves crash upon lands and destroy many buildings. Storms tear apart cities. Fires encompass the earth. Black smoke fills the sky. Plague rips apart the land. Disease and famine strike. War wages and blood is spilled in the desert. In total, this will wipe away hundreds of millions of lives. For many years, like thunder crashing upon the earth, the old world is upended, and the spiritual order of the world is at stake. The new earth tribe waits humbly for his call. The old earth arrogantly refuses help. So that was stage 5.
Hi, I'm Kasey Kelly. Anyway, that paragraph about the whole storm thing, and I know we haven't reached to stage 5, correct? Anyway, so right now, I was thinking, well, we already had some storms, so how much more storm could we get? I mean, I'm in North Carolina right now, and we're supposedly have a storm coming in through North Carolina, supposedly, but it only hits the ocean isles, so it's just interesting how we have a hurricane coming through Florida and some in North Carolina is up in Virginia, but really, I can't help but think about what does the weather look like in stage 5? Any thoughts on that one? I mean, has anyone actually? I've been a survivor of tornado before. Tornado came about 1 mile away from my house, but I was safe. I feel safe and everything. But of course, there are disasters around it. Yeah. But I think a thing is, I remember how important mirror exercise was safety, because you are always safe with God, and it seems to be ingrained in my being. So I've never had to feel like I survived the natural disaster. Whatever I said, I survived the tornado when it went by it and destroyed my friend's house so much, and yet it did destroy mine. And it's just, and they're all like, "Oh gosh, are you okay?" I'm like, "It's fine. It's all good." So yeah, the stage 5 is it's about safety concerns, but I think if the collective could mirror exercise about the safety, because every one of us always safe as God's children.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Like, yeah, in the text it says that cities will be torn apart and fire will engulf the world. It's like huge stuff. Like, whoa. So yeah, that's a good point about the mirror exercise and claiming your safety, knowing that you're always safe with God. So very cool. I have something, I'm reading this book. It's called The Need for Spiritual Communities and How to Start Them. It's by Swami Kriyananda, and Swami Kriyananda worked with these Yogananda, excuse me. Yogananda, there's a quote from Yogananda in here. Yogananda was reported saying, "Time is short," she repeatedly told her audiences. "You have no idea of the sufferings that await mankind. In addition to wars, there will be a depression the like of which has not been known for a very long time. Money will not be worth the paper it is printed on. Millions will die, presumably through war and starvation." Once she declared fervently, "You don't know what a terrible cataclysm is coming." So, yeah. And for those of you that aren't aware, a lot of Jeff and Shaleia reference Yogananda a lot. So, yeah. Anybody like to share anything?
It's just small. I just read somewhere that the coronavirus isn't going away. It's going to be here for a while. That's all. And it's talking about here, plague rips apart the land.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what's different about the 5th through 10th phase of the Ascension, through the first 4 that we talked about, is that we're in, please someone correct me if I'm wrong, I think we're in stage 2, is that correct? Phase 2? And so we have an idea, like the phase 2 is talking about everyone's like going inside and sheltering in their house, and like we have an idea of what that looks like, but we don't really know what the specifics will be with these other stages. We can only kind of speculate, but it's really interesting. It's interesting also that in this book that talks about building spiritual communities, the cataclysm warning comes at the very beginning, because in many ways, like, the old world has to die for, not die, but just the new one, the old world has to be let go of for the new one to start to unfold. So, yeah. Any other comments on that one? On the phase 5, it's pretty cut and dry.
Something that I really find interesting is that in the stage before, in the reluctance acceptance, it's talked about like a great spiritual war begins with battles fought in heaven on earth, but not in the flesh. The holy fervor with which this war is fought is unspeakable and gives rise to the Antichrist. And then you can see in the next stage, we move into that physical experience of that war that is within, right? That's not of the flesh. So we wait in patience. The tribe waits humbly for his call in this phase because we've done our work here. And so it's just cleansing that is going on in stage 5. A very deep cleansing is what I see as this unfolds with the apocalypse has come.
Really deep.
Very deep. Yeah, very deep, clearly. So that's, something I'm seeing from like stage 4 to stage 5, how that the work that's done within results in a deep cleansing of the earth.
Yeah, I think about like how a volcano works, where it destroys everything in the path of the lava, but then that soil is pristine and can plant like bountiful harvest in the upcoming decades. So yeah, it has to be purified. Marley wrote, "Radical non-attachment will be required for those natural disasters." Very true.
Yeah, for me, it like reading this encourages me about like doing the work now and seeing how preparing yourself now is like great idea. Because I wouldn't want to be caught like unprepared spiritually for something this massive, and it kind of gives me more, not that there's already plenty of incentive to invite people into this work, but
deep appreciation for being prepared so deeply.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like, this is like, stage 5 is like, when I was growing up, like the doomsday things, like everyone thought 2020 was like the end of the world type thing. Like this stage 5 is kind of like that. And it's nice to have it encompassed within all of the stages, So we don't just think it's only that the world is headed to. Like, there's more to the story.
Yeah, that's a really good point. When people talk about the apocalypse, it's just simply like the world ends and then everybody rises from the grave and goes to heaven. Like, that's what I've heard in my life growing up about the apocalypse. But
Or another example, 2012, the world supposedly ends in 2012 because that Mayan calendar ends. Yeah, I remember I was terrible of that when I was younger. And then I realized, you know what? I mean, I had to work through it thanks to this teachers, and I'm so thankful for this Chapter Shaleia's work and learning these prophecy. I learned to feel peace about this truth, and also what Daniel pointed out is feel prepared and spiritually, and mere exercise is safety.
thank you. Shall we move on to phase 6? Alrighty. Stage 6, the Messiah. Crying in pain, the old earth finally at its knees, it surrenders. It wants no more war. It seeks only peace. It cries for help, and the Messiah arrives. Sweeping in on a golden falcon, he brings peace to all lands and all people. His message of love spreads throughout the land and the earth. Its skies, its oceans, its creatures, and its people come to a great peace. This peace is temporary, for the world maintains separation from the new earth and seeks to retain the Messiah as leader of their world separately from this world, from his world. He remains a peaceful mediator for a time. What stood out to anyone?
I can't help but notice with all of these different stages, you know, how this is really like the journey we all go through on our ascension path. Like, obviously this is like on a world scale, but this is like the experience we go through of releasing ego, the illusion of ego. And yeah, like there's just so many similarities. Like I see myself throughout these stages of like my own process of surrendering to God more deeply and healing. And yeah, it's kind of like, it's a very compassionate thing. Like, it's like God is just kind of meeting us where we're at, and he's just giving us that next, you know, piece. And yeah, it just feels very peaceful and like just very compassionate given what we would have just gone through in the stage before, you know, leading up to this. And so, yeah, it just feels like a really like just extremely loving kind of like way to move through that.
I have to ask.
Oh.
Go ahead, Laurentiu.
Okay, thanks. Well, it really feels like after the total war, we get to this piece here that we can just enjoy much more, and we got to a bit of resolution. And even if it's for a short time, like it's a step forward for them finally accepting more of the new world instead of just holding on to that. Or then it's like you said, Soraya, like basically like they fought so much there, like it's like working through that process of healing and upset, and maybe you're like so resistant until you finally, okay, I gave up, I surrender here, and you receive that love. But then they're like, oh, I received this good thing, okay, let's take more of it, and let's bring it into the somewhere else where others cannot have it. And it's just like ego again, like trying to think that it has the power when it doesn't have really any power.
That's like the holding on to the separation, right? Like being grateful for the gift that the Messiah brings in a way, but not receiving the full heaven on earth, right? Just yet. And I feel like, yeah, it's about, as you said, working through that process of healing still. You feel that peace coming in, but you have to fully integrate and make all the choices and, you know, and the action steps necessary to completely work through the healing, right? And I feel like these stages bring that we achieve the peace, but we're still gonna work through fully integrating and grounding that peace now in a more global scale way.
And it feels very good. And another thing that it keeps coming into my mind. I'm just gonna say it, but when I read that paragraph with what it is the Messiah arrives sweeping on a golden falcon, like I just see like.
Just wonder, it's gonna be like a real golden falcon? It's gonna be a plane?
I was thinking about maybe a plane, you know, but I was thinking
a sheep.
A plane made of gold. But I can only see like we will see, but I kind of feel like Jeff on a plane. But that's all I can imagine. I see this picture with Jeff on the golden plane. But we will see.
I was seeing that too. That struck me too. I was wondering if someone would bring up the Golden Falcon. It reminds me of a show I used to watch called Esteban, the Mysterious Cities of Gold, where there was like this golden condor flying around. It was an airplane kind of thing. I wanted to read some of the comments there. I apologize, it takes a little while for them to refresh. So Marley continues. She says, I just felt this pain in my heart saying goodbye to so many people in beautiful places. But I know what God has in store is far greater, supportive than what we could ever imagine. Love is never lost. Yeah, absolutely. Carmel writes in, correct. They are just transforming, as did Jeff and Shalea's Subaru into a Porsche. Jose and Michaela, right? Jose and I were just watching a news story about a massive explosion that just happened in Lebanon. And another news story popped up about how the Ring of Fire is on red alert right now. And now we're talking about the apocalypse wall. And then Savannah Meyer, hello. What about the people who have already ascended? Will they be there during this time of the fish stage? Also, do people have lives after they have ascended completely? And Carmel wrote back, they will be at the center of it, holding space and invited healing. Yes, our lives are eternal. And I think that once you ascend, you don't have more lives on Earth. Is that everyone's understanding?
That's what we're changing so that the Ascended Masters can come back. And
yes.
We will be here. The New Earth tribe awaits humbly for his call. So the new tribe will be here during this time, and we'll be waiting humbly for God's call, probably raising our children in peace, and just waiting to support and heal when the old Earth is ready.
Yeah, we're bringing heaven to Earth so that heaven can come hang here.
Yeah, so the Ascended Masters can come and be safe, be supported and loved, and enjoy Earth with us.
Thank you. So yeah, I hope that answers your question, Savannah. So that's beautiful. Yeah, the script of the Messiah doesn't talk about what the tribe is doing, but we know what the tribe is doing because we know the qualities of the tribe and what the tribe stands for. So thank you, Kasey, for saying that. Would anybody else like to add anything on stage 6?
Could the Messiah just also be like everyone going into harmonious union with their twin flames, and it's just a lot of beautiful, warm gold energies spreading around the planet?
I just feel it's Jeff, and so like the mediator at this time with probably leaders from the New Earth tribe that are in particular positions to support mediation for the Earth. So he would work through people in political positions most likely, or something like that might happen. So he'll have some connection in order to support as a mediator during this time. That's what I see.
Cool. All right. So stage 7, the final surrender. Through the leadership of their Messiah and Savior, the old earth gives in with its laws and systems of government. A new order is established in the way of the new earth. A complete assimilation occurs between new earth and old, and one world is established. The planet heals and its health blossoms into a richness never before known. Technology explodes in a second boom, and space is conquered. New and great discoveries are made, and a new and eternal kingdom is forged. People release suspicion of their Messiah and proclaim him King of all. The world begins healing deeply, and all work together as one. The world is finally forever at peace as one kingdom, not two. All the world enjoys the solutions of Christ. Poverty, inequality, disease, famine, climate catastrophe, fear, war, hatred, all the delusions of a sick mind and world are annihilated. The end is near.
Yeah, this is just so good. Like, it's just all the work that we have done. It's basically getting to that place of peace, and it's finally the healing is integrated. We spoke about the other step. So now we're getting into the place that we can finally move into a place that everyone knows mirror exercise, everyone does it, everyone hears they're upset, no one is going to be like projecting on anyone else their upsets, and it just feels like just harmony all around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And this all starts with accepting our true leader.
Yeah, our Messiah, and as we said, and as Kasey said, like we feel too like Jeff is the Messiah, and basically like he being proclaimed the King of all. Like, I mean, it's only logical for what we feel. So
Yeah, I wanted to speak to something that was mentioned in comments underneath the original post, which was
Kasey Kelly had a comment. Can we hear from her first?
Sorry.
Can you guys hear us okay?
No, I can hear you. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, just wasn't sure if it was the sound. Yeah, I mean, this reminded me of like when we finally surrendered to TFAS, like actually becoming a student of Jeff and Shaleia and becoming like a true student, a true disciple, and like surrendering our lives to this work and giving ourselves to spreading this teaching. Feels like the step before this was like coming into the open form and like looking around and being like, okay, I'm done with suffering, but like I don't know about this, like there's some peace here, but this step is like fully releasing any doubt and completely committing to this journey, committing to God on a deeper level.
Yeah, I love that. I feel very deep harmony here in regards to like creating harmony between the new earth and releasing the old earth, and like by keeping what is of love of the older earth and putting it in harmony with all of God's creation. And it feels really good to see it unfolding and healing, and all these things that we've lived with for so long will no longer exist. Famine, disease, inequality, poverty, those are all unfolding now if you look at what's going on. And it's beautiful to have such awareness and have such a gift of this magnitude, so we have the vision, we see what's going to unfold, and we can be safe knowing, you know, there's like clarity here for us in regards to what we're doing in our work, and finding deeper security within yourself, and what you're doing and what your part of the movement is. Right?
If I can, I wanted to ask Chris about something towards like, as we're going through this, how do you feel MAP is going to be in this stage? What do you feel about this? Because I was really thinking about it right now.
Well, yeah, MAP is essentially the hospital of the new earth. And so it'll provide the support that is needed for people to come into peace and harmony, to take the new steps. It's an avenue and a branch for TFAS and LPC to, you know, provide people the healing that they require in order to take the next steps on their spiritual journey. And yeah, we'll move forward. We have a vision, you know, of moving forward into the next thing after we heal trauma, like completely, and it's in the consciousness. We'll move on to the next and the next. And as Jeff noted in his, I think it was his last sermon, about all disease starts within the mind. It's within, and that's what we do in MAP is it's a mind alignment process. And so that's the purpose. And that's what the vision is as we move forward, is it will continue to expand its branches and completely support all God's children in their healing. That felt very political. Anyone else feel like that was very political?
I just like three words. Kasey for president. That's and my city started.
Yeah, one thing I'll add about this is I'm someone who like love prophecy, but then I'm like, oh, you know, I read something like this and how beautiful it is, and I just want to be there. But the nice thing about being in this work is I realize, like, energetically, like the new discoveries and the beauty that's unfolding every day, like that's what's happening for everyone in this work. And so to realize that kind of that timeless aspect of it, like you can get close to this part of the vision now by claiming your eternal purpose, your eternal place in this. And so yeah, it's kind of like many people see, as you get closer to Jeff, your life transforms. Get closer to this movement, your life transforms. So this is what it looks like for the world, but it gives me hope that it's like, okay, I can live in this reality now.
Already.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chrissy, you've got some, sorry.
Well, I guess, okay, I'll, can I communicate? Yes, I can. Okay, it's just I'm sorry, I can't speak right now. There's, okay.
You're good. I'm going to share something really funny, Maura. This might help. So Carmel wrote, Chrissy, you've got a new hashtag, Chrissy for president. So that's going around. It's the first time. And yeah, thank you. We've got some really good comments, but they're also being answered as well in the comments. So we've got a really good chat going on. I'll just read one of them that stood out. Michaela writes, this prophecy is about the whole earth ascending in this lifetime before the work of JSG or Jeff, Shaleia, and Grace. It would have taken lifetimes, but they are here to bring heaven to earth for all in the next 50 or so years, according to the prophecy. So, yeah. Laura, did you remember what you wanted to say?
Yeah, so it's just like this level is nice to tap into because it's like the after, like what's on the other side of all this upheaval that's happening in the collective, like with this virus. The virus is detoxifying people, and then all of the destruction of the land, the storms and the volcanoes. It's like this is what's on the other side of it, and so it's just really nice to feel into that and see into it. And yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I feel really grateful. And it makes me want to shed more ego so that I can be a part of bringing and ushering this in.
I'd like to share something more about this stage that I feel is that it says about technology, how it really like booms, and I really feel like Divine Gaming has a very big part on that. Like I really feel that, and I really feel that we're gonna go deeper with Divine Gaming, not just games, and we have plans to create technology and new stuff into it. But for now, we start with what we have in front of us. But I can already feel like the amount of innovation we can have with creating technology from a healed mind perspective, and how easy it can grow afterwards, instead of like having technology that gives you a headache, if I can say it like that. So I can see even like video games being put in a new perspective. Like I can really feel the vision for like being able maybe to even implement healing into a video game. Like I was thinking specifically to map, maybe, who knows. But having a lot of things done by technology and being able to ease our life in a way um, to help us, support us in exploring, and not just, okay, we do all these things around the place, but we want to explore, we want to create. So technology that will help us to just do that, to just be in a space where we can just create and express our being fully without having to do a lot of the chores that maybe we already learned the lesson there, having different lessons. No.
The automation is earned.
Yeah, the automation is earned. I wanted to get to that. The planet automation is earned.
Yeah, I want to add to what you were saying, Laurentiu. It makes me think of like these government systems also being healed, and like, laws, like these are things that affect all of us. And like, as these things are healed, we're going to feel so supported in that. It's going to really like a lot of, I don't know, it's just like energy leaks. Like I know like there's certain things with government, certain systems and processes, there's just a lot healing that will just feel so supportive and so good. Like all of these systems in all these different areas, I feel like this is going to be like a time where we're really going to like awaken to just how amazing life on earth can actually be, and really start seeing that and experiencing that in a very like day-to-day, like global way. It's going to be really incredible.
Yeah, exactly. I really also wanted to add to what Laurentiu and Alexandra said, and that like all of us in this community have experienced massive exponential transformation. And so this is due to this work, MAP and healing the mind really accelerates your progress. And so the things that we're talking about are possible and will happen in our lifetimes. So yeah, we're going to become much more efficient. I think something about the brain, there's like parts of the brain that aren't being used. So that comes to my mind. All right, so we're on stage 8, the Enlightenment. Any further comments on stage 7 before we go? Keep blasting off. Okay. Stage 8, following a complete healing of global systems, peace having been established on Earth forever, a deeper healing occurs. The Earth's king is treated no longer like just a political ruler, but a spiritual ruler as well. One religion is established, made up of all religions on Earth, and practiced together in harmony with all beings. Great spiritual discoveries are made at this time. Systems of justice, policing, military, and government spy intelligence fall away as they are no longer necessary. Communities keep themselves in order, and spiritual maturity is attained in one lifetime. Heavenly births outnumber astral births, and the astral reincarnation system comes into a brief panic before a new order of ascension is established. Earthly birth becomes a high privilege, and all peoples of the earth develop deep respect of one another. Great temples are built to honor the brotherhood of nations and the unity of all peoples. Stupendous prosperity and joy inundate the land. Happiness becomes the natural state of being. All people are fully at peace.
I need a little clarification. What's the difference between heavenly births and astral births and earthly birth? I just need a clarification because when I think of an astral birth, I'm already thinking a different space. Anyone can answer that question?
Yeah, so when there's reincarnation, your soul, what I understand is that your soul goes into the astral realm after having completed a lifetime on earth and then gets reborn. The heavenly birth is from the ascended realm. This is the golden children that are coming down. Jason and Chrissy referenced that earlier. So that's why there's a panic, is because this cycle of rebirth and reincarnation is halted because people are coming in straight from heaven instead of recycling again. They're coming in for like their first lifetimes.
And another thing is that those don't choose death anymore. So basically the reincarnation is going to be a bit, it gives me the feeling that it's not going to be anymore a thing about age. We're not going to worry about that, about how much we live. So therefore, there's not going to be a cycle like this anymore. There's not going to be a need for something like that. So someone who's used as a soul to just go through that cycle over again, like I just feel to give this example, like someone who's addicted to something, like maybe someone is addicted to just this experience of just going through art over and over again, and they're just wanting to stay there. They don't want to go away. So therefore, like that puts it in danger for them to do that, to continue to do that. And they kind of like,
yeah, because they'll have no place here because the vibration has risen to such a way that they cannot be here, right? They cannot be on the new earth if you still kind of hold on to the separation.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think that the souls in the astral realm will really have no choice but to ascend, which is good. Obviously, we want them to ascend. So they'll like ascend into heaven. And like the prophecy says, it's a very high privilege to come back to earth and live on earth. So yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to know that as well because right now, like in the spiritual communities, there is this, feeling like, oh my God, we're on Earth, we are the trash of the universe because, I don't know, being on star, whatever, it's so much cooler, right? But no, the Earth is going to be the shit now.
It'll be the cool stuff.
I'm going to share a comment. Abir writes, I feel deeply about one religion. This is something I always felt strongly about since childhood. I had been around friends from all religions and can see the one religion within. We all desire this church of union. Okay, shall we go onward? I can't believe there's more, but there's more. Okay, so now we're at stage 9. The masters arrive. In brotherhood and solidarity with Christ the King, his heavenly brotherhood of souls descends upon the earth. Having found Christ's kingdom to be suitable for them, they settle in great temples adjacent to the King. First, largely quiet, they meditate and bring new joy unspeakable to the land. Great spiritual masters are enraptured in ecstatic bliss at their presence. Flowers blossom all around the masters. After a relatively brief time, the masters begin to speak as one. In harmony, a new voice of imminent completion arises through them. They all serve the one God whose presence is now known on earth. They proclaim earth the new seat of heaven, and angels and all manner of heavenly creatures descend upon the earth. Indescribable heavenly happenings begin, which are beyond the scope of prophecy. What is to occur, only God knows.
I had to, this is ironic. I know my claim coaches is watching this, Ray and Anastasia. I hope you don't mind if I say this. But I just mirror exercise about unknown, because I was so terrified of unknown, and I have to accept that only God knows, and that is very hard, and it's really is a perfect timing. And after my session with Ray and Anastasia, it's just that when I first read it, I was like, oh, okay, but actually hearing it out loud, I'm like, it's overwhelmed. I cannot imagine what it looks like, and that's when I realized, I just feel peace and just accept what it is.
It really feels here that uh, all the ascended masters are coming. Like the brotherhoods, or like let me just read it better. Like his heavenly brotherhood, like all of the soul family of Jeff basically coming to Earth now, and really like populating and giving like the bliss, giving a new sense, like a new way of seeing things. And yes, we cannot see it right now, it's unknown for us because we cannot even like comprehend this, but it really feels very good. Like feels like, oh, I want to explore that. I really want to see how is that going to be, how can I feel even better, like how can I really enjoy life even more. And it's more like a peaceful exploration, like curiosity.
And we already have the path to going there. Like just
Yeah.
keep doing the mirror exercise. If you want to see what happens at stage 9, keep doing the mirror exercise. Never stop.
Yep. Oh, and if you're upset, if you're getting close to stage 8 and you're upset, just do the mirror exercise. Maybe you're getting there.
Okay, one more comment before we move on. I mean, wow. Carmel wrote, flowers blossom all around the masters. I love this. It really invites me to the vibration of true life. Yeah, I love that too. I also enjoy them, speaking in one voice, like what would that actually be like? So that's very cool. So stage 10, the completion, or it's just called completion, excuse me. In total solidarity with all children of God, all corners of God's kingdom find their way to earth. The complete and total collapse of all spiritual realms occurs, and earth ascends to its home in heaven. All brothers are as one in the kingdom, but earth retains its physical nature. Heaven's technology is given as a great gift to the kingdom of earth, and all humbly bow to its divine authority. Physical lifespan becomes unlimited, and physical worlds to explore become endless and unlimited as all of the heavens open up for exploration and discovery. The universe returns to oneness. The joy, peace, love, and gratitude for God are beyond description or knowing until this moment arrives. Every single child of God is returned home to Him. Every rock, every particle, every space, every thought, everything is returned to God. All fall into a love with God so deep none can ever part. No thought of a separation ever returns to humanity, even in dreams. The ascension is complete. God's new heaven and new earth are complete.
My main like feeling as you read this last part is just how beautiful this is and how it makes like everything before completely worth it.
It's like if you knew what great splendor awaits you, like all those mirror exercises and triggers would be nothing. Right?
I really like imagining what the earth will look like, and like specifically like nature, plants, animals, you know, that's, we like that stuff. So yeah, it feels good to hear this, and that earth will be returned to its rightful place in heaven. And I look forward to that.
Yeah, it's nice. It's just like the world that we envision together, and what all the healing leads up to collectively, like with all the people of the earth, of God, all of God's children together healing, and yeah, that's sweet. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, like as you were, reading it, I was really just feeling into the words, and it's just like so unspeakably perfect. And it's beyond description. And we won't know even when we're like, it's always going to be beyond description. And there's obviously like, it's going to be like nothing we can imagine, but it's just reading it, it's just so comforting and it's so beautiful. And it just brings so much peace to my heart, knowing that heaven is coming to earth, and it will be complete, and we will arrive there, and it will be finished. And yeah, it just feels really, really good.
It's also really showing me actually how God really wants all of his children to be home and really in the relationship with him and truly connected. And because for years, I guess, is that I've always been seeking for God's love when mirror exercise, and I learned how to find it within myself. And then as a progress, like what happened in her is what changes the outer reality. So if a whole collective acknowledge it and less resistant to it, that's how the earth can be at home, because what happened within us is what forcing the outer reality happens.
That's beautiful, Kasey. That really speaks to like the nature of ascension being, something that unfolds progressively. And, as we ascend, we go to deeper levels and then ascend. It's really beautiful. And we're able to imagine and experience and receive these beautiful things. I noticed that as we were going up in the stages, like I started to become more and more moved in my heart. And I think maybe this speaks to you, Maura. Like I have this sense that you can feel these unknown things in your heart. Like your heart recognizes them, but there's no words to describe them. And that might be why sometimes, even though you can hear this prophecy, like it's difficult to verbalize what you want to say. It's like a feeling of being awestruck in a way, but it's just beautiful. So did my best to verbalize that.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's how I feel, like, because I feel it and then I can see it and see the vision of what it looks like, and like being in that space is like, yeah, it's like, yeah, God's amazing. We love God. Yeah, that's all I have to say right now. Yeah, just feeling. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing that seeing this complete vision of like, wow, like God's going to restore earth to heaven. It's obviously a very big job. There's a lot of pieces to it, but it helps me to feel like, okay, well, all the things that God has promised me in my life, to be with my twin flame, to live my life purpose. Like, if God can accomplish, and he has a plan for bringing heaven to earth, God can do what he's promised me in my life, right? So it gives you like that much more faith in our creator and what he's promised now, like he's going to deliver. Because I know a lot of people in this movement are calling in really big things, right? Well, this prophecy shows God can make heaven on earth. So God can make all your dreams come true too. So I don't know, it gives me faith I can relax, into what God has promised.
I'm curious about something. What if phase 10 looks like harmonious union of this whole thing, and some of you are in harmonious twin flame union, and I know Soraya pointed out it's like smaller scale, and within experience is matched to experience with it going on in Teat Bass, and which made me wonder, is stage 10 matched to a harmonious twin flame union?
I want to respond to this. Stage 10 for me feels perfect union. It doesn't feel harmonious union. We, like, by that point, like, harmonious union was already achieved. But ascend, when you ascend, basically you achieve perfect union.
Mhm.
So basically the whole earth ascended, basically everyone achieved already perfect union. So even greater than what we experience right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I think when it states, all fall into a love with God so deep none can ever part, no thought of a separation ever returns to humanity, even in dreams. The ascension is complete. God's new heaven and new earth are complete. That's communicating that you no longer hold any upsets, which is the definition.
Yeah, everything is returned to God.
Everything is returned to God. Yeah.
It's just really beautiful. And I have time to share one more comment, or a couple more comments actually. Michaela writes, they say astral creatures will come to earth, unicorns. Carmel writes, preach Daniel. And Michaela writes again, yes, the purpose of the clarity of the prophecy is peace. So it's a really upbeat way to end. And I wanted to invite everyone watching this recording to go to the Unionism Spiritual Discussion Group on Facebook, and you can actually see 2 more additional parts. There are 2 phases post-ascension. That's right. There's 2 phases after phase 10. And you can scroll down and read Jeff's post. So I really invite you to do that. So we are out of time. I wanted to thank everyone for being here tonight. I really enjoyed sharing this with you. It's very big energy. Thank you, and thank you to those of you who came and commented. It was just a really good time to spend with everybody together, and I'm really looking forward to being part of the tribe, and wanted to give other people a chance to comment before we closed out. So
I kind of want to say thank you for answering the question, even though I didn't say it verbalized. But wait, after the stage 10, what's next? So thank you, Jeff, for creating that post.
I just wanted to say heaven is entered 2 by 2. So if you're watching this and you want to be on the side of the Ascension, join TFAS and LPC.
There you go. Plug.
You can find that on TwinFlamesUniverse.com. Anyone else want to say anything before we end?
I just wanted to what Diana said. Preach is complete. That's all.
Yes. Good. Thank you, everybody. Love you very much and have a really good night. Bye-bye.